Hi everyone! So today I'm going to show you a recipe I've made like a gazillion times. I've posted it many times on Instagram. I make it on a regular basis because it's snack, you know? It's a really useful snack to have in the freezer. And those are my little chocolate molten cakes, okay? So they are sugar-free, they're gluten-free, which doesn't mean they're light, as we all know, right? I sweeten them with dates, okay? So there's many steps to this recipe that I just need to explain, so I figured I would do a video about it, okay? So in it, I put two key elements. One is cashew butter. Let me show you my cashew butter. I make it myself. I take raw cashews, not roasted. I put them in a high-speed blender. I have a Vitamix, but you can use another high-speed blender if you like. And I mix them until, and I just add salt, and that's it. I mix them until they become, you know, a cream, all right? So it has to be more than a powder. It really needs to be like a true cashew butter, all right? Now, you could buy this, but it'll be really expensive, and you know, might as well make it yourself if you can, if you've got a high-speed blender. So I take about a cup of this, all right? Cashew butter, peanut butter does the same thing. Like nut butters have this, there's something about them that when you use them in baking, they give you a kind of a cakey texture that simulates flour a little bit. Okay, so in a recipe where you wouldn't be using a ton of flour anyways, you'd just be using like half a cup or a 3/4 cup or whatever. In some cases, like in this case, you can use this cashew butter and it's gonna give it this nice texture, which will mean that you won't have to put like 5 eggs, you know, or whatever else, okay, to make it, you know, hold like a cake and not be too stodgy, you know. So I put that in there. That was explanation number one. Number two, I take medjool dates, okay? You know, there's some medjool ones and I've got these smaller ones. They just need to be moist, all right? So don't take dry dates. I have about a cup of these. I'm going to take some coconut cream. This is just plain old coconut cream, okay? You could probably use coconut milk, but I usually use the coconut cream, okay? So I put about a good 1/3 cup and I'm gonna blend it. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more. In the recipe, I say, you know, put half, like a 1/3 to half a cup, you know, up to half of a can, I would say. I know this is taking a long time. If you're using a high-speed blender, it'd go faster, but I just wanted to show you things separately and not have to wash things in between, okay? So this is the kind of texture you get with this. This, by the way, is what I call coconut caramel. So if you look at it in here, you see how it's like this nice kind of creamy texture, okay? Now, it's still granular because of these, because I'm not using a high-speed blender, so I would have to mix this for another little while, okay? So let me just give it another 20 seconds. Okay, so that's that element, all right? And it smells wonderful, okay? This is something, by the way, I also forgot to tell you, I put a teaspoon of vanilla in here with the dates, okay? A cup of dates, teaspoon of vanilla, you know, 1/3 or so of a can of coconut cream. This is a great spread this is also, like if you were to make a pecan pie that was vegan, this would be the caramel you put at the bottom, okay? On the crust. It is amazing. Doesn't have like a strong, like if you don't like date squares, well, that's fine. You know, the coconut cream makes it really lighter and creamy and gives it that caramel texture, like taste and texture. And the coconut milk, for some reason, the coconut cream, you don't taste the coconut so much, or you know, hardly taste it for some other reason. I don't know. There's something about those two ingredients that just go so well together and that create this caramel taste. You can spread this on like toast if you wanted to. Like, it's delicious. So that's that. Two important elements. Now, I'm going to take my Vitamix and I'm just going to mix everything up together. Now, this is not vegan. I do add 2 eggs, which I'm going to go get now. Okay. So, what I do is I'm going to take out a teaspoon. All right. What I put in here is I'm going to put all of this cashew butter. I'm going to put all of this date mixture. Okay, so let me just do this with my fingers. Don't worry, they're clean. I mean, normally, if I wasn't showing this to you, I would be making this mixture in here. But I just really wanted to show you how to make this date caramel. By the way, this date caramel is also a great topping. Like, you know how I love oats in the morning? And I love adding some sweetness to it. Most of the time, fruit, like just plain fruit, like a banana or whatever, some berries, is enough sweetness for me. But once in a blue moon, I like to put an extra something. I put this, you know, just like a dollop. It's so nice. This is really nice as well on yogurt. It's just delicious. It's awesome. Okay, so I put the dates. I'm gonna put 2 eggs. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to, okay, I take 5 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now, I take raw cocoa powder it's a French brand. I got this at Comptoir 102 in Dubai, but you know, it's just a good organic cocoa powder that doesn't have any sugar. It's raw, so I quite like it. So I put 5 tablespoons. As you can see, I don't measure stuff like crazy, but you know. 4 and 5. Now, if you don't have this fancy stuff, in Dubai we have this, like, you know, this stuff, which I've done it with that too, and it works fine. It's just, you don't know, you know, it's not organic and stuff, but it works. All right, I have gluten-free baking powder, so I put a teaspoon of that. Also, I have arrowroot flour. Arrowroot flour is something you may have seen in some of my recipes. I don't put a ton of it. I just put like a tablespoon, okay? You could put a little bit more if you like, but I wouldn't put too much, because if you put too much, then these little molten cakes will become a bit too cakey, you know, and they won't be molten inside. You don't want it to bake completely, all right? So I don't put too much of that. I put some coconut oil, just like a little teaspoon. In the past, I have to say, I did omit the coconut oil, and it didn't make a huge difference. But so I reduced the quantities, because it originally was like, you know, a few tablespoons, and now I just put 1 tablespoon. But I guess because the cashew butter is quite oily, you know, there's some fat in there. So there you have it. Put all of that cashew butter in, and we've got everything. This is when I just pray that I haven't like forgotten this super important part of the recipe. but I don't think I have. So now we put it all in here. We turn this baby on. What I do is I just take it out, I mix it a little bit more to make sure everything is well mixed. This is where, okay, here's where, if you like, if you're a huge chocolate lover and you want like a strong chocolate taste, you can add more, okay, cocoa. So I'll add a little bit more. Okay, but you know, it depends, and it also depends on the variety of cocoa you're using. So it's up to you, at your discretion. But definitely at least put 5 big tablespoons. That's what I forgot. Salt. I put a pinch of salt in here. Okay, like half a teaspoon or something. There you go. Good. That part is all done. So we can get all of this out of the way. And I will bring my little muffin tray. Okay, so what's the reason I put this in the Vitamix, you might ask. You might think, why didn't she just beat everything or do it by hand? Is because of this date caramel. You really want to have like the dates in a paste and in a very smooth kind of cream, because otherwise you're going to feel them in the little muffins. Okay, so that's what I do. So I'm just gonna fill these. I always like to fill them because I'm the one who ends up eating most of them. I like to fill them up more than halfway. But you can make them smaller. You can just do halfway and it's fine. If you do it all halfway, it should give you, I'd say, about 8 of these, 9 maybe. Yeah, a bit more actually. If I fill them my style, it gives me 8. And if I do it less, it'll probably give me like 10 or something like that. But I'm a big eater, so don't rely on my kind of muffin sizes or cupcake sizes. Okay, so just let me do one more here. This muffin tray I've greased with coconut oil. When I use coconut oil, by the way, I always use the odorless one, the one that doesn't have that coconut taste, okay? Because we're not making curry here, we're making something that's not supposed to taste like, we're not making it shouldn't taste like coconut at all. I know there's coconut cream and stuff, but believe me, you are not gonna taste it. So, I've got 8. You see, the batter is thick. You see, I'm holding it like this and it's kind of staying. It's a thick batter. Now, it is not over because I want to indulge. Sorry, I'm looking for, These are not things I eat every day. But when I want a snack and I want something really super chocolatey, I want it really super chocolatey. So on top of the cocoa that I've put on here, I add a little square of a dark chocolate. I like this one that I found not long ago. It's called Chocolate and Love Organic. I mean, you can take this Lindt 85% one. I mean, obviously it's not, there's extra ingredients in there. But, do, whatever you prefer, okay? Okay, so I put a little square on top of each, okay, oops, and then we put them in the oven, all right? You can even put half a square if you want, if you think it's too much. The Lindt ones, I'll put like half a square because they're quite big. Okay, and then I pop them in the oven. All right, so here's that. Oops, you see this? See that? That is gonna be delicious. So I put it in the oven. What do I do with the rest of these empty muffin cups? I'll tell you what I do. I pour a bit of water in them. First of all, so they don't burn, but also because that will kind of add moisture in the air of the oven. So it'll keep kind of the air moisture, and it's better for the baking as well. That's it. I'll pop these in the oven. You can find the recipe for this on my blog on wellmama.com, WELLMAMMA.com. They're delicious. I promise you. Last thing. These guys, once I've done them, I let them cool. The next day or a few hours later, I'm gonna cover them, put them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer. I promise you can either heat it up in the microwave and it's made delicious. I eat them frozen and they're awesome. They're really good frozen too. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great one and I will see you soon.